Wednesdays are for people's elbows, super kicks, and springboard cutters. You know what that means. It's the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast hosted by Michael Davis on Boom Broadcasting, and it's time to pick up that mic.
3 things Monday Night Raw got right, 2 things Monday Night Raw got wrong. We usually do a nightcap hosted by Mouthing Off with Mike, and usually I'm his tag team partner. But with it being Monday afternoon Raw, nobody's got time for that. Plus, we had Hoops and Helmets on Monday evening, 5:30, so we didn't want to interrupt there. So I need to tell you on the road to WrestleMania what Monday Night Raw did right, what Monday Night Raw did wrong. And one of the things they are doing right is they are letting the international crowds thrive. I mean, I am so happy that we are not getting the road to WrestleMania in America. And this is meant to be a slight to the American crowd because they're too spoiled. They're too spoiled. They don't know what they want. If you give them one thing, they're going to boo. If you give them the other thing, they're also going to boo. Or they're just going to sit on their hands and not interact with the wrestlers and the entertainers in the ring. And that's the best part about going to these shows. SCC this past weekend, hosted by owner JL Johnson himself, me and Shannon, Podcast Smitty, host of Quick Hits. We were on commentary. We got to see fans interact with the crowd. That was at Mount Pleasant Elementary School. They're going to have another show at Boomer Ferguson Elementary this summer. Stay tuned to my socials and Squared Circle Champion socials for that event information. But that's the best part is you get to interact and engage with the people. Like people ask me, why do you like wrestling? I'll tell you why. Unlike your movies, you can't interact with Spider-Man. You can't interact with the Incredible Hulk. You can't interact with whatever character Jennifer Lawrence is playing. But you know what you can do? As the entertainers are in the ring, putting their bodies on the line or on the mic telling you what's on their mind, guess what? You can let them know exactly how you're feeling. And so for fans who just sit on their hands idly by when you purchase a ticket, you are hindering the experience for the TV audience. So even if these shows are taking place in London, the UK, Belgium, Scotland, even if these are all the way across the globe, across the pond, and we're even our time zone difference, you can feel a better energy as these wrestlers are in the ring with that crowd. So what they're doing right with Monday Night Raw is just having this segment of WrestleMania season in these international places who aren't spoiled with a new show every 4 to 5 months, who actually care, who want the WWE to come back to their city. So you know what's happening? They're showing up. They're bringing the intensity, and it just makes the shows feel bigger. What Monday Night Raw did wrong? Lyra Valkyria, Raquel Rodriguez, the only women's championship match, the only women's match that we got to see on Monday Night Raw. There were 4 matches on Monday Night Raw, around a 2.5-hour show that we got to experience on Monday afternoon, or if you got off work, maybe it was still Monday Night Raw for you. We only got 4 matches, and one of them was this match. And it just left me feeling not fulfilled, unsatisfied. And you start looking at the women's roster, and of course, we had a segment, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. We're getting a title match, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, a rematch next week on Raw, and Bianca Belair is going to be the referee. But there wasn't much of a women's highlight, and I know Mouthing Off with Mike is so annoyed because we didn't get Bayley. We didn't get Dakota Kai. We didn't get Natalia. Liv Morgan was on the sidelines watching everything go down. we didn't have Roxanne Perez, who was starting to, be in the mix of NXT and Monday Night Raw. We didn't see Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark. And I understand a lot of Damage Control is hurt right now. Asuka, Kairi Sane, Kiana James is even injured. But you mean to tell me in 2.5 hours of Raw, this is all you could put together is the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, which this reign for Lyra Valkyria, for me, is falling flat because there really isn't much of an emphasis. And that was my concern when it came to introducing women's mid-card championships, is they'd be kind of an afterthought. They'd be kind of an afterthought. Now, what Monday Night Raw has done right was making the once afterthought, the once like, oh, they're just twin brothers. They're making them interesting. Jey Uso had a special mystery partner, and everybody was wanting Joe Hendry, clap, clap, because you believe. But I believe that blood is thicker than any Scottish waters, because Jay is obviously not going to pick Joe Hendry where he has no relationship with Joe Hendry. Guess what? He's calling on his twin brother. A year ago, they were against each other. They were at odds. Now they've reunited. Jimmy's found new heart after being turned on by Solo Sikoa's bloodline version. And these two, they teamed up at War Games against the Bloodlines. And now Jimmy Uso can come to Monday Night Raw and team with his brother when he is in a one-on-two situation. They got this right. If you're upset that Joe Hendry did not show up on Monday Night Raw during WrestleMania season, I'm sorry, you're out of pocket for that. And that will come back Friday at 5:30, just FYI. But come on, there was no scenario Joe Hendry was going to be the guy. Jimmy Uso makes sense. And they even advanced next week's story because, again, Gunther gets the best of Jey Uso. And now you give Gunther an opportunity to wrestle Jimmy Uso next week. And that's what we were setting up here. Jimmy is not a Monday Night Raw guy. He is a Friday Night SmackDown guy. But he is still the twin brother of Jey Uso, and in support of his road to WrestleMania, potentially becoming World Heavyweight Champion, Jimmy Uso has his back. The second thing Monday Night Raw got wrong. John Cena, Cody Rhodes. John Cena's a heel now. I'm not saying they got this wrong. Maybe I don't go this route. Maybe I always leave the what if scenario. What if John Cena turned heel? But I'm holding my reservation. They want Cena and Cody. They want Cena to help elevate Cody as the new babyface, as the new quarterback of WWE. They obviously didn't want the fan split between Cody's title reign and John Cena's 17th World Championship. They didn't want the fan split. So obviously, if you're going the Cena-Cody route, you're going to turn John Cena heel. What I don't love is we got this promo last week internationally. I mean, John Cena came out and berated the fans and, call them, all the names in the book and blamed them for an abusive relationship. And Cody comes out to play the hero and remind John Cena of who he is in the fans' eyes. And then this week, John Cena starts Monday Night Raw promo-wise, and he comes out and he's talking trash. He's like, you guys didn't like when I introduced the spinner belt. And I'm going to ruin WWE, and I'm going to ruin wrestling, and I'm going to retire with the WWE title. And then Cody Rhodes comes out and kind of reminds John Cena. And it's like I'm kind of having a little bit of deja vu. If you're going to give us the heel turn of John Cena, if you're going to give us John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, give us something new and fresh every week. This felt like a repeat of last week. And now they're advertising John Cena and Cody Rhodes under the same roof for a third international show back to back to back. So you know what I'm expecting? I'm expecting the same old in front of a different crowd. John Cena is going to come out and he's going to start talking trash to the audience. And then Cody Rhodes is going to come out and try to talk some sense into John Cena and say he's the quarterback now. And it's just starting to fall flat. And so I get it. You have 4 weeks until WrestleMania. It is a drag sometimes not having a premium live event, but then sometimes WrestleMania and the card feels rushed, or other matches start feeling like an afterthought to the actual WrestleMania card. But what I think WWE needs to improve is really layering out these stories week by week to keep people interested and to keep everything fresh. Now, those are 2 things that Monday Night Raw has done right, 2 things Monday Night Raw has done wrong. And we're going to end this on a positive note. I always think of the compliment sandwich. If you're going to go from right to wrong to right to wrong, you obviously have to end the Drop the Mic Wrestling podcast on something Monday Night Raw did right. And that was the main event of Monday Night Raw. Braun Breaker defending the Intercontinental Championship against Penta. Cero miedo. Zero fear. Monday Night Raw did so much right with this. 1, we never got to see the Intercontinental Championship displayed in the main event of a Monday Night Raw. And it was always like the first match or maybe even the second match, or we'll throw it in right before the main event. And it always felt just like a filler mid-card title. Monday Night Raw this past week is helping elevate this Intercontinental title that really started with Gunther's title run way back when that was historic and record-breaking. Now you have Braun Breaker, a very young, up-and-coming guy, and after Gunther elevated himself from the Intercontinental picture to the world title picture, you know the same is going to happen for Braun Breaker whenever he's done in the mid-card scene. Monday Night Raw to main event with the Intercontinental title is one thing. To main event with Braun Breaker is another. You could have had Cena and Cody going back and forth in the quote-unquote last thing on the show, and could have even had this Intercontinental title match right before. Technically, it's the main event, but no, it felt so much bigger that this was the final thing you saw on Monday Night Raw. And here's why. Braun Breaker, main event in Monday Night Raw. It is just foreshadowing what's to come. Penta, who's been WWE just 2 months, is also in the main event and competing for a championship. Tell me you didn't just let Ray Phoenix know the treatment he's going to get when he officially debuts on the WWE brand. Tell me you didn't just say, hey, Aleister Black, here's how we're going to treat you. And you just send a message to every free agent that is thinking about coming back or thinking about coming to WWE for the first time, that if you are a star and you work hard, you could very well be in the main event of Monday Night Raw within 2 months. I don't remember the last guy they brought in other than Cody, because Cody technically was a returner. I can't remember the last guy since AJ Styles, who immediately went to the main roster and was immediately inserted into big storylines and was given spotlights like the main event Monday Night Raw. Penta, Braun Breaker did great, but I kind of saw how this was going. It was a little predictable. Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor coming out and interrupting things. They weren't going to have Penta get the fall. They weren't going to have Braun Breaker lose his title. They needed something. And Judgment Day was a perfect insertion of this. Who's ran Judgment Day for the last 2-3 years? Judgment Day has ran Monday Night Raw. I mean, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Edge. Edge is kicked out for Finn Balor. They go recruit Dominic Mysterio. They've had JD McDonough. They've had Carlito. They even had R-Truth for a little period of time. They are just so good. And it's awesome to see that they can still end a Monday Night Raw standing on top after everybody's like, oh, Judgment Day, they've ran its course. It's time to split them up. Da, da, da. No, they're still like, if you're in the building for Monday Night Raw, guess what? They're still drawing a huge reaction. And it's really because of Dominic Mysterio. Now, Finn Balor, he hasn't held a title for a long time. I think they said 2018, 2019 was when he held the Intercontinental title. So the last title he held, singles-wise, on the main roster was the Intercontinental title. He did hold the NXT Championship for a little bit of time, right outside the pandemic era. But he really deserves this spotlight. And he hasn't won many matches as Bishop Dyer, formerly known as Baron Corbin, pointed out. Hey, I can relate because that was Baron Corbin's last time on the main roster. But Finn Balor in the spotlight, and everybody's like, oh, so are we getting Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title? I'm throwing in Dominic Mysterio. It looks like there's dissension between Dom and Finn. Who knows if that culminates at WrestleMania? But Dominic Mysterio, with what he's done the last few years, especially having that big match against his father, Rey Mysterio, a couple years ago at WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood, it just seems right to include Dominic in this. Make it a fatal four-way. I know we have a lot of multi-man matches at WrestleMania. It's kind of a joke around the internet right now. But give me a fatal four-way because all these guys are hitting their stride. And that is what I thought about Monday Night Raw after 2 days to settle on this. But I can't wait for SmackDown. I can't wait for some Nightcap action to return with Mouth Off with Mike. He's going through some transitions right now. And also, Monday Night Raw going on in the afternoon. Everybody's at work, and we got Hoops and Helmets at 5:30. But, guys, we appreciate you watching Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast on Boom Broadcasting. And we want to remind you that we have a lot of content for you. We're so close to 500. So if you're subscribed, thank you. Send this video to a friend you think would like it. And if you aren't subscribed, then you can click the button. It's free anyways. It supports all our content creators. Guys, we appreciate you so much for staying with us on this Wednesday afternoon for a Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast. And this will be back next week. I will be back for Out of Pocket on Friday, and we can't wait to see you here. As Mike would say, bye, guys.